Good evening, my friends. Welcome to the webinar. And today, Thursday at 4 p.m., 27th July, we are organizing this live webinar on smoke detectors, how to maintain a fire alarm system. Very interesting subject because every building in India has a fire alarm system. Not by choice they have, but because of compulsion, because of the regulatory body that you must have fire alarm system, because otherwise you don't get NOC. So we choose to have a smoke detector in our building. I don't know how many of you can recognize a smoke detector on your ceiling. As we do this program today about smoke detector, how does it work? How do you know that it is working? It's something that we like to talk today. And myself, Dominic, I have come from 34 years of experience from the fire industry. And most of you would have seen me in the various other webinars that we keep posting every Saturdays. And I'm one of the founder member of FSAI, Fire and Security Association of India. We started back in 2002 when fire alarm is just entered India. So worked very hard to educate people. So I was part of Honeywell Life Safety. We started the system sensor in India during late 90s. Which was acquired by Honeywell later from Pitway Group. Those days, only Apollo detector was well known in India. So we introduced a system sensor. Then later we introduced a Morley fire alarm system. Then we introduced notifier and so on, so on. So apart from FSAI, we are very passionately working towards bringing all professional under one umbrella called FOCUS, Forum of Critical Utility Services. It's most like a federation where all the critical professionals come in together, because today buildings are becoming smarter and smarter. Everyone need on your mobile the health of your fire alarm system, your status on the safety. You want to know how many people are in the building. You want to know whether air conditioning optimizing your energy there. So unless all professionals come together and understand the need of the critical services, we will not be achieving smart building. So hence we have FOCUS, Forum of Critical Utility Services. Then we started association called National Federation of Electrical Engineers for Safety. Everybody say fire due to short circuit. So in my entire 32 years, whenever there's an alarm, they blame poor maintenance of electrical. But I was very keen that why does it happen? Is it really because of poor wiring in a building, or poor appliances, or poor earthing? So my interest went on to, getting into understanding the standards and codes of National Electrical Code of India. So me, along with Mr. Gopakumar, Apau, and a couple of more electrical inspectorate from different states started this association to create awareness on electrical situation in India. So we also started to identify the brave hearts, the people who sacrifice their life, and the reason to sacrifice life, how are they recognized? So henceforth, these are my activities where aggressively continue to spread the awareness, education through various platforms. This is me, Dominic, for you today. I will be hosting the event today. With me, I have my friend, my colleague, Parul Verma, who comes with similar industry experts. She's been in Delhi and she's been face of detector business in Delhi, and she's been traveling length and breadth again to educate, create awareness on the use of tool to maintain the smoke detector. Parul has come from 20 years of experience from the fire industry and security industry. She worked in all kind of businesses and specialized in market development, sales, and team management. Today, we are so happy to have her, and she's going to share her experience, what she thinks, where the India is heading. Are we really geared up to ensure fire alarm does work in a building? So before I go to the next slide, I want to show you very important news clipping that I got it yesterday. The clipping says, Abu Dhabi Civil Defense Authority Tuesday issued an advisory reminding that property owners will face serious consequences if they violate safety, which means building another property in Abu Dhabi would follow stringent rule laid out for the fire safety, including the detector and firefighting system always work. If not, you'll be fined 10,000 dirham. 10,000 dirham is equal to 230,000. If you generate any false alarm in your building, they will challan you with 230,000 fine, because every building, the alarm is connected to central station. Whenever you create a nuisance alarm, you will get a challan of 230,000 rupees. So how important? So the countries are taking fire system very seriously. Safety as a way of life. So everybody is looking at to maintain the fire system, fire protection system, fire detection system as a priority in their premises. Not because someone is asking whether fire alarm is working, or is the fire department questioning you whether it is the way of choice. It is no excuses for not maintaining the fire system. So what is happening in India? Why? So 1 second, let me hide this thing. Yeah. So with my experience of 32 years, which I'm going around, in most of the public places, underline public places like hospitals or malls or a government building, you will see the detectors like this. You have a cobweb around, dust accumulated. When you open a detector, what you see? It is a house for insects. It is a home for lizards. You will not believe. You just walk into any of the public malls or any public utility, you will see fire alarm is the most ignored system. And in 70% of the fire alarms in the country is switched off or not maintained. This is our statistics. This is our research says fire alarm is not maintained. Why? For two reasons. You keep on getting false alarms in the fire control panel. Because of the lack of awareness, some people not fully understand the importance of regular fire alarm maintenance. And they're not even aware there's a fire alarm in the building. Most of the people think it's a mobile signal, the transmitter to increase signal. Many times I ask them, do you know what is this that is there on the ceiling? They say it is a mobile transmitter. They don't even know it is a smoke detector. There are smoke detector in their apartment. The occupant doesn't know it's a smoke detector. When the painting happens, they just paint on the top of the smoke detector. The chambers are covered. Again, complacency. In a building or a facility where no fire incident happened for a long time, they think, I am very safe. Mera building mein kuch nahi hoga. People take it for granted that there will not be any fire in my building. Is that true, my friends? that no incident will happen in a building. In some of the cases, budget constraint. You go to some of the the apartments or the commercial building, the allocation for the maintaining the safety system is so negligible. And we have engineers who are a freelance engineer, taking up AMC, and it doesn't even cover his fuel charges. Just because of the livelihood, he just take, okay, I will do the maintenance. What do they maintain? How do they maintain a fire alarm system in a building? They think it's like any other maintenance, just clean the fire panel, make sure that LEDs are blinking, and open the panel, remove the dust from the control panel and move away. Do they really open up each detector? Do they know who licensed them to test the smoke detector? Do we have a certification of engineer to certify that he is fit enough to test the fire alarm system? Again, the lack of budget contains lack of priority, expense, because it's a non-ROI. It's not going to return of investment, so there is no question of maintaining. And again, lack of enforcement. Our fire department today, I am from Bangalore. Today I am talking from Bangalore. There is a short of firemen. How can you expect fire department to come and test your building where the fire alarm will work? So it's quite tough for the authorities to come and check. Though it says once in a 6 months or once in a year, department has to come and check, then they will NOC or renew the license to the building. Ignorance of consequences. Some individuals may not fully understand the potential consequence of neglecting fire alarm system. They may not even realize that improper functioning of system can lead delay in detection of fire. They think there is a smoke detector. Wherever there is a smoke, it has to detect. The fundamental of smoke detector is not understood by our friends. They think it is like a sensor. No, these are called a spot detector. The smoke has to travel into the chamber to create an alarm. When you don't maintain the smoke detector, you cannot expect there is a alarm generated of the smoke detector. How important it is for you to maintain. The fundamental is whether you know it's a smoke detector, how does it function? That is a question. The ignorance today is causing huge losses to the country, losses to the property, losses to the life. Inadequate training. We have chief engineer electrical, we have maintenance engineer in a building, we have housekeeping guys. But how many are they trained within the premises, not depending on the contractor to come, though there is AMC? Are we trained to maintain a fire alarm system? Majority of them doesn't know how to check fire alarm system. You ask them, today fire alarms are monitored by a security guard who was temporary there. When you ask him, do you know what it is? They just say it's an electrical panel. Doesn't even know it's a fire alarm system. Generally when you go read the message on the panel, it says battery switched off, 5 alarm on different zones or different floor detector, but no action taken. In many of the cases, when we do audit of the building, fire alarm, there are lot of faults that you can find on the panel. Detector missing, no action taken. So it is individual's importance, that individual interest, that we must go through certain training process. And time constraint. Everybody is busy. Yes, when you go to a hospital to maintain a fire alarm system, no. Today we have a lot of patients. You can't go remove a detector because you are obstructing the business. Again, though there is a contractor who wants to maintain, but our business priority does not allow us to test the smoke detector because our priorities are different. They say you come in the night, When there is no people around you, please come and check. We have no set deadline for testing the smoke detector. Another case is false alarm. It's a continuous regular false alarm. Tend to switch off the fire control panel. And we forget to switch on it again. Most of the malls that I see, the manual call point are covered with multiple layer, so the kids or the people doesn't press on the manual call point because there is a regular false alarm is coming. Generally, they switch off. They don't know the consequences. So overall, ensuring the fire alarm system maintenance is taken seriously. And today, the advancement in maintaining the smoke detector has become easy. It's not complicated. You can get data on how it is maintained. So to make you understand how we are progressing, what are the technologies that are catching up, how it is enhancing you with equipment that can maintain your fire alarm system. Please understand, because you have a fire system, because you have a fire system doesn't mean you are safe. You need to adequately budget the maintenance cost for it. You need to have an equipment within you, within the premises to maintain the safety system or alarm system or protection system. Do not take it for granted that nothing's going to happen to you, but because you don't know what happens tomorrow. Fire alarm is necessary to notify you if there is a smoke or if there is a fire in a building. Please take this session, the training today or the webinar today we are doing seriously, because we are here to help you to make sure that your fire alarm does work when it is required. Let's make safety a way of life. I now request my dear friend, Parul Verma, to talk about what are the advancement that is taking place, what are the standard, Indian standard, we have Indian standard to maintain a fire alarm system. What does Indian standard talks about it? What does the NFPA talks about maintaining the fire alarm system or maintenance of the fire protection? So she's going to enlighten us today about maintenance of fire system today. Over to Parul. Parul, hope you're there. I'm giving you the screen to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Over to you, Parul. I can't see your face. Can you, probably come forward?
Yeah.
Yes, that is better.
Yes.
We can see your lovely face, Parul. Parul, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. And as Dominic has already introduced me, I'm Parul, and I welcome all of you today to know more about testing, functional testing, and about Detector Testers as a company. And I really appreciate all of you taking time out from your busy schedule to be here today. And like Dominic said, we have fire alarm systems, but maintaining them is so important. And if we're not maintaining the fire alarm system and we are spending so much of money in installing the systems, then it's of no use. If you have a system, installed, and when we are spending so much money, and like Dominic said earlier, there was no importance even for fire alarm systems, but now with stringent laws, and it's not just for NOC anymore, I would say that. It's like because now people are also understanding the importance of safety and security. They have started, taking fire alarm systems seriously. But then keeping the fire alarm systems working is also very, very important. So testing of the smoke detectors, the heat detectors, and whether it's any kind of detectors which we use in these systems, the traditional testing methods are not the right methods. They are not detrimental to, detectors are fine or not fine, because they can cause damage, can negatively impact the subsequent performance of the detectors too. Like Dominic was showing us how the detectors when they are, opened up, and you really realize how badly, the detectors have been maintained. So, there is a big no to testings through incense sticks, through cigarettes, to burning of paper or any kind of, live flame, heat gun, magnet, etc. So now we come to the question of why should we be testing fire alarm systems, smoke detectors? I meet so many people, like, the awareness level is so low. People say, I mean, what is the need to test when we already have a fire alarm system in place? The building is anyway, we have secured the building with a fire alarm system. But no, that's not the case. Keeping the occupants and the building safe, you've installed the fire alarm system. But then a functional test, why is it important? To prove that the detectors would respond when there is a fire, when the smoke and other types, when the smoke will enter the detector chamber and will communicate to the panel. Only then you come to know whether the system is working fine or no. When you see an LED, when you see the LED blinking, or when you see the analog values on the panel, you conclude that the fire alarm system is working fine. But that means only that the current is, running through the cabling, and the circuit is working fine. Only that means, only then it is, that doesn't prove that the detectors and the fire alarm system is working fine. We need to also test them by a proper functional testing should be taken place. Even the codes and standards mention that functional testing should be done, which will prevent not only the risk of prosecution. These days, with the fire laws becoming so stringent, there is a, risk of being prosecuted. Then you can also validate insurance in the event of a claim. And the main thing with functional testing, which we at detector testers do, unwanted fire signals, false alarms are reduced so much because of that. And if we come to, even the industry codes and standards tell us very clearly that functional testing is very, very important. We have never even known about this. Maybe even I have been in the fire alarm industry for the past 20 years. And Dominic, like he said, he's been here from ages. But even we have not actually given the kind of importance we should be giving. That's why I took up this challenge and joined detectors testers to, because I understood the importance of functional testing. So I thought, why not let everybody in the industry know about it and make people's lives and, the properties safer if we start following this. If you see the BS 5839, the industry code, which we all even, we keep following, we keep hearing about it in all our, when we look at the tenders or when we look at our specifications, BS 5839 is at times quoted. And even in this, it is mentioned very clearly that, the smoke detector should be functionally tested. And by functional testing, even they very clearly say that the smoke can enter the detector chamber and produce a fire alarm signal. And when this is done, it should be ensured that the material used does not cause damage to or affect the subsequent performance of a detector. So that's why I was mentioning in my earlier slide that, we should not be using any kind of cigarettes or any kind of, incense sticks or any such methods which can cause damage or affect the subsequent performance of the detector. Like when the detector was opened, which we saw earlier, there was a lot of contamination inside. All this is caused by false, methods of testing. Even heat detectors should be tested properly. We totally ignore heat detectors. Still smoke detectors are tested through a incense stick or by burning paper. But at times we also are using heat sources which can have a potential to ignite a live flame. We should not use live flame. It can ignite fire. So, and then, if we go deeply into BS 5839 and the intent it has for it, it says that periodic inspection should be carried out by a competent person. And these, inspections should not be less than, it should be between 6 to 12 months. It should not exceed 6 months. We should do it after every 6 months. Only when we keep testing our detectors periodically will we know that they are healthy. Then, the problems of, having when there is a fire, of course, that is a different aspect. Then even false alarms will not happen. And then the tests also, again, it says here that, when a test is happening, the elements of combustion should travel unhindered into the from the protected room into the chamber. the most important, and it is being told again and again that the smoke or the heat should enter the detector chamber. Only then it will respond and it will inform the panel that actually is a functional test. And by again another slide which talks about the intent of 5839, again the BS 5839, it says avoid damage through use of unapproved test methods. Like I again said, no test methods. The heat source should not have the potential to ignite a live fire. That's why we should not use these heat guns, cigarette lighters, or anything like this. And aerosol smoke also should be approved by a detector manufacturer. We normally use any kind of aerosol. Aerosol can have silicon in it, and that can cause a lot of damage to the detectors. Now, if you go to from BS 5839, now we go to NFPA 72. Even there, it is very clearly stated. We use ULEN listed detectors, but why don't we follow this when it comes to testing? It is so important that test smoke detectors, we should test them to ensure that smoke entry into the sensing chamber should happen. So, and we should use a listed or labeled product. It is very clearly mentioned in this that use a listed and labeled product. We don't do it. We use incense sticks, which is so wrong. And then we go around telling that the detector was not working when the fire happened. But when we are not testing, when we are not maintaining the detector, how will it happen? The same goes true for the heat detector also. Again, the NFPA says the same thing. Perform heat test with a listed and labeled heat source or in accordance with what the manufacturers are publishing. If you look at the manufacturers' publishings of whether it's Notifier or Siemens, they also very clearly state, that please use a proper testing method and assure that the test method for the installed equipment does not damage the detectors, and that does not cause any kind of problems in their performance thereafter. If you go to the EN54 standard, also European EN54 standard, wherein we are using EN detectors too. Again, it says point smoke detectors should be functionally tested. If you look at it, everywhere, every code mentions functional testing, which none of us are aware of, and we should start taking this very, very seriously, so that the smoke can enter the detector chamber and produce a fire alarm, and it should be ensured that the material used does not cause damage or affect the subsequent performance. This is so repetitive. If you look at each and every code, each and every standards, they mention the same things again and again, but we have never given importance to this. So let's all do this, start giving importance. Even if you look at our Indian standard, IS 2189, even it clearly says that each smoke detector should be tested to initiate an alarm at its installed location with smoke or other approved aerosols. It says with approved. Approved is a very important word which we do not ever, we always say, so what? So we can do it with us, incense stick, agarbatti se ho jayega. No, that's not the right way at all. And we should use the proper functional testing with the proper labeled and approved means of testing. The methodology should be approved by the manufacturers, and also it should be a properly labeled and sorry. So after what Dominic said and what all we have been discussing about the codes and standards and everything, if I come back to detector testers whom I represent, I am the business development head for India. I would say that we are the global leaders in the fire detection test equipment market. We are present in 140 plus countries, and the brand Solo has been in the industry for the past 25 years, and we still are so many are still so unaware of it. Okay, some of them know, they don't know the name of detector testers as a company. They all tell me, okay, fine, you're from Solo. So at least that is heartening that at least they've heard of Solo, which is the aerosol based and the most popular range of our test equipment. And we are 100 plus staff. We are present in UK, US, Germany, Middle East, everywhere across the globe. We are the global leaders in this field. And we are so passionate about innovation. We are not only an ISO 9001 manufacturer, ours are also UL certifications for our core products. And being a UK based company, we've also won the Queen's Award about 2-3 times. And the vision and mission of our company is we have the pioneers in this industry of testing equipment, and we want to remain the pioneers in the world of testing technology. And our vision is to provide, we want to protect and people's lives and property through innovative solutions, innovative and proved and tested solutions, tried and tested solutions, you can say that. And by not any kind of, old fashioned methods of testing, which are not accurate at all. And this can make our lives so much safer, simpler, and easier, not only for us. And if we're all any consultants, architects, facility managers, you can make your customers' lives and their properties really safe if you really, go with this product. And if you look at our product, we are working at the core of the sector. The fire alarm industry is the core. And being a 9000 ISO 9001 approved manufacturer, we offer such a huge choice of solutions to meet each specific need in our fire alarm system maintenance. And we are working in partnership with all the leading manufacturers. Here on the screen, maybe you can see a few names, and a few names are left out, but we have a whole, huge big room in the UK wherein each and every detector is installed. And as and when new detectors are, are coming out through these OEMs, we try in tandem with them. We are working on it. We are testing them, and then they're passing it. And so we work in partnership with all these leading manufacturers to ensure that the products we make are compatible and safe to use with the widest range of all the detectors that come into the market. And we are UL certified, as I said, and we support very safe and efficient functional testing, which is compliant. Not only, it is compliant also with all the industry, the international industry codes and standards, Indian and international codes. And if I go then to the brands and solutions that we at Detector Testers offer, we have the Solo brand, which is 25 years old. It is the most popular range of the testing equipment which we can offer, and which is used and approved worldwide. It has a comprehensive range, and it allows you to choose the right solution for any needs you may have, whether it is smoke detector testing, heat detector testing, or CO. Then we have the Testifier, which is the world's leading all-in-one tester. Testifier, we call it the all-in-one tester, or you can say it's a multi-sensor tester, because it is one tool with which you can not only test smoke, heat, and CO, and it also allows the testing of any detector of any type and make. Then we have the Scorpion. This is the solutions for building with hard to access areas, suitable both not only just for point detectors, but for ASDs too. And Scorpion ensures that all detectors can be tested regardless of their location. I'll come further down where I'll tell you which are the locations which are hard to access. Then Smoke Saber is the handheld smoke detector tester. It has got an inbuilt saber so that it prevents the usage too close to the detector, which can cause damage to the detector. And to avoid any kind of that damage, we have the Smoke Saber. Then this Testifier, if we go more deeply into it, it is, like I said, suitable for smoke heat testing, and it increases productivity. By productivity, what do you mean? Productivity on site. We are taking a ladder, then there's one person who's holding a ladder, one person who's climbing on a ladder, then he's lighting an agarbatti or something, or maybe he's, just spraying the aerosol directly, which is also a wrong method. So, you save a lot of time, and so it increases the productivity. And it's like the most compliant testing material for multi-sensor detectors equipment. If I come to Testifier, we have two models. We have the Testifier 1000, which is for smoke and heat, and Testifier 2000, which is for smoke, heat, and CO. You can see the pictures on the screen, and there's a small compartment in the side wherein a smoke capsule is inserted, and then this smoke capsule, it releases controlled smoke, so there's no possibility of over application. And also when we have these battery batons, which are the black ones below. So these power the testers. And then we have two heat outputs. One is heat that can go up to 90 degrees Celsius. And for high heat, when areas like the kitchen or the transformer rooms or certain areas where there's high heat potential, there's a setting which you can do here, which will go up to 100 degrees. Then, of course, we have the carbon monoxide. This the bigger model, this Testifier 2000, wherein it houses the smoke capsule on the above compartment, and below compartment it has this CO capsule. CO capsule is where you have these carbon monoxide detectors for your basements for that area. Then there's a clearing mode. The best part about this is the testifier is that it not only tests the smoke and the heat detector. This it can do simultaneously or it can do sequentially. You can, accordingly, you can set it. You can use the smoke, then the clearing mode, and then the heat, or you can do smoke, heat, and clearing. The clearing means it removes, once you do the smoke detector testing and you're releasing smoke into the detector chamber. So after the test, what happens? Sometimes the lingering smoke is left there inside, which can create, false alarms and create such a nuisance. So this removes the lingering smoke from the detector chamber after the test and eliminates all possibilities of any kind of re-alarms happening, which are a very major cause of concern too. Then from the Solo, which is the aerosol based systems which we have had from the 25 years, we've added a new generation of the Solo brand, which is the Solo 365. Even in this tests only the smoke detectors, and it is the very latest technology, and it's a very nice and slim design. You can see it, and it is very lightweight and very easy to use. So very easy to lift and use. So, and even in this, there's a smoke cartridge. So in the above model, we can test up to 400 to 500 detectors with the smoke capsule. And of course, the heat detector is tested. There's an element, there's a chip inside. So as soon as any kind of, product goes into it, the detector goes into it, it cuts the beam and it tests the heat detector. And the battery batons each battery baton can test up to 250, 2.5 hours to 3 hours. One battery baton can fully charged can operate. And then, it can be recharged like we recharge our phones. And in 30 minutes, it's again fully recharged. This has a smoke cartridge. This can also test about 250 detectors. But this can test only a smoke detector, whereas the testifier can test smoke and heat. The Solo, again, it generates smoke on demand, allowing for faster testing. And this also has a clearing mode like the testifier. So this is, and all these, the smoke cartridges have they are all environment friendly. They're non-hazardous gases which are used. Then we have the Scorpion. This is the solution for buildings with hard to access detectors. It is suitable for both point and aspiration detectors. And you can test them regardless of the location, like it can be lift shaft, ceiling voids, secure rooms, stairwells, under escalators. These are normally, if you see, there's this detector on the screen, and it's permanently installed close to the detector and operated via handheld controller. There's a tubing system. The tube goes out and comes down if it's above the ceiling or if it's above the lift shaft. And then, see, normally we avoid testing these places where it's very hard to access. But then in this, you have to design it along when you're designing a fire alarm system. When the detectors are being, considered wherever above ceiling, then you have to consider these accordingly. This is the ASD system, which I was talking about, which can be permanently mounted adjacent to a sampling point. The above one is for the Scorpion ASD head unit. And here, this is the Solo 365, which I spoke about. That is not only for point smoke detectors, but also for ASD systems, where you have the entire pipeline. Just one head unit is required for each pipe run, regardless of how many ever sampling points you may have in one tube. I mean, this. Then when we come to dispensers and aerosols, for the aerosol, which is the Solo brand we talk about. So you should not normally, people at times end up using this, they do a direct spraying from the aerosol cans, which is not a proper method of doing it. We should use the aerosol along with the dispenser, So a dispenser comes in two sizes, 100 ml and 180 ml. These are like depending on the size of your detectors, they are lightweight and they're swing frame. Why are they swing frame? Because then you can use them at any angle, whether it's on a wall, whether
See,
there's some kind of
Parul,
hindrance in between.
Parul, one
Then you can
second.
use them accordingly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Parul, one second. I'm just putting a pause on this slide. Now, generally, what we have
Okay.
said, buy the can, which is cost effective, and they spray at a distance. When you do the test through the dispenser that is shown, you can test
Yes.
almost 175 to 300 detector. But when you spray, what I call naked spray,
250. Yeah.
directly to that,
Approximately.
we lost you. Your signal, I don't know whether my signal is weak or your signal is weak. We can't hear you. We can't hear
You end up
you.
always when it is spring loaded. So can you hear me?
Yeah. I can now.
Yeah.
So generally people use a can and spray on the detector, which is wrong. What you're saying, that is wrong method to
Yes, it
test.
is wrong because what happens when you're spraying it directly, then it can go only to one part of the chamber. Then it can be
Oh,
over. You kind of you're not spraying as much as required. You're kind of overdoing it. So when you're using it with a dispenser cup, only the exact amount is released, the quantity is released, and it is spread evenly in
cross.
and goes into all parts of the chamber.
Can you go back to the previous slide? That
Yes.
yeah. So you mean to say what you're saying? The dispenser helps the aerosol to go across the chamber and
Yes.
simulate exactly the smoke condition and gives you the alarm. And only required amount is sprayed.
Yes, exactly. That's what I
So
mean. So
you,
that does
your
not
point
cause
is very, very
contamination.
valid. And your point is so important to all the listener or people who are watching. You could see your contractor maintenance guy is using solo as a can and spraying. This is what we have seen. Straight away go to the detector and spray. So what Parul is trying to tell us that it's a wrong way to test. You have to have a dispenser, the cap there, which only certain amount of aerosol need to go, not more than that is required to simulate the alarm condition. So this is something very important for all of us to know. Directly,
Yes.
spraying on the detector is wrong.
It can
Am I
cause
right?
contamination. It can,
Yeah.
yeah. So all
Damage
these things
electronic.
matter. So it's very
Mm.
important to do it in a proper method. The method is very important. Just buying you locally also get these aerosol cans. Some people tell me. But then, one more thing about those local aerosols also is they contain silicon, the kind of gases they use, they can be hazardous. So, all that is very, very important. We should use a proper
These
labeled
aerosols
product.
are UL listed.
Aerosols, yes, and they are also approved by the detector manufacturers, which is very, very important.
That's a very good information, Paul, because detector manufacturers should have approved these 810. What you're saying, it is all approved by the
Yes,
manufacturer of the detector, and it is also got UL listed.
yes. See, that's what we mentioned very clearly. Use only approved aerosols, and aerosols should be used with dispensers and not contain silicon. Silicon again causes harm to the detectors, and we at times don't know what we are buying across sometimes locally. What Then even
And
carbon monoxide, also we have these cans, which can also be used with the dispensers and the same holes like I was talking about. So in this also we have this Solo C3 for basements and wherever we have our parking areas where we use these carbon monoxide detectors, there we can use this. And even in testifier, like I said, we have two models. One is for smoke and heat, multi-detector tester, and one is for smoke, heat, and carbon monoxide. So when you go for a testifier, you're going for a one single unit which can test all three types of detectors. Whereas if you go for a solo, which is also from detector testers, but you will have to buy a smoke. For smoke, you will have to buy these smoke aerosols. And then for the carbon monoxide, you will have to buy the carbon aerosols, carbon monoxide aerosols. And for heat testing, you will have to buy this third equipment, which will, again, it is the industry's most popular standalone heat detector tester. No doubt about it. It is battery powered, and it can be also mains powered. So you can have the option of that. And this also directs, the heat beam of heat towards the sensor when the detector goes in, and this suits up to 90 degrees. Then when we come to the access poles, kits, and the removal tools, these are all, these are universal in use. We call it universal is these poles are compatible not only with Solo, but also with the testifier range of our testers. So these are universal. These can be used with any of the kind of testers you purchase. These have access up to 9 meters. And they are basically non-conductive. They are made of non-conductive fiberglass, and they are telescopic. So it is very easy to carry, and you can put it up to the kind of height your detectors are, double height, whatever height, your detectors are installed at. Then we have these very sleek maintenance kits wherein you can, keep them, and when your engineers can move around easily, and it looks so professional, when you're using system for your fire alarm systems are UL listed and EN 54, products, then why not even use your testing equipment, which are UL listed, which are so, professionally, carried around. Like Dominic was saying earlier, people will say, no, we don't want, this, we don't have the time. You don't need to have time. You don't need to vacate areas. Hotels or any of these places, when the room maintenance is happening simultaneously, this can happen. It'll hardly take 5 minutes to test your smoke detectors, or to test anything. So along with the room being cleaned, this can be tested, and they can just walk out. You don't need to stop any kind of work happening, or the operations, or your guests need not be disturbed. And when people are spending so much money on hospitals and hotels, airports, even the interiors, if you see the flooring and all is also, you spend so much money on flooring, then you're carrying ladders, and you're using scaffolding. All that can also cause a lot of harm to everything else. So it's not
So
just for
Parul,
the safety security. Dominic, even aesthetics matter a lot.
Parul, the kit that you are
Yeah.
showing here, it's
Yes.
so useful. In generally today, when we maintain a smoke detector very conventional way, you need two guys.
Mhm.
You need three guys. You have to have a ladder. To hold the ladder, you need two guys. One guy going up, and one guy is lighting the agarbatti, or carrying the jute box. Generally, you see the whole. It's like a mess. The whole area where
Yes.
smoke detectors are
Yes.
being tested. It's so
Very
aesthetically, it is so bad.
unorganized.
Very annoying. Very annoying. Here, what you're showing is one kit with one person, so convenient. And this can be used by every facility manager. You can ask these premises owner, why can't they invest in just, it's not a cost when you look at the maintenance. This is something,
Yeah.
I think that awareness is needed, Parul. One kit with one person, you can test so many detectors. Randomly, you can test the detector. Today, you have a contact with ladder, not properly, wearing the PP kit, and you have two people to hold the ladder, one fellow climbing, and again lighting. You fire that, to generate a smoke, you need to, use a lighter. Again, hazardous. Good.
Yes.
I'm quite impressed
And
with that.
one of our distributors, by the name of Cavitec, they've also made a kind of a comparative with the conventional method of testing and the latest way of testing,
If you have,
cost
why don't you
wise.
show
The
to
capex.
our? No, we
The
have very
capex. I don't
interesting,
have it right now. I will share it, and we can share it to all the participants shortly when
because
after this.
most of the participants today, Parul, we have contractors, we have consultant, we have end user. Because this is something
Yeah.
where end user can have it and give to the contractor to use it. Either if they do not have a budget, they can use it. But
Yeah.
it would have been nice if you show
No, but
the conventional way
that's what
and what is it.
That's what I'm coming at, Dominic, is that even if you look at, right now it may look it's kind of expensive, but of course not at all expensive when it comes to the safety of the building or the people. And when we are spending crores on a fire alarm system, just a couple of lakhs, I think should not matter at all. And then if you look at it down the line, in a space of 3 years or so, the cost in fact becomes same or in fact a little lower. We have made that chart, so I will shortly share it. I'll share it with you, or we can share it with all our participants today. That is a very wonderful thing made by Cavitex, so I would like to share that shortly with all
Sure.
of you. So like
Okay.
we look so professional carrying these kit bags. Like when we are using a sophisticated fire alarm system which is UL listed from USA or from UK, why not use a very sophisticated and a proper testing methodology with a proper tools, which really give so much of credence to our industry. Even when we are installing fire alarm systems, people who, when we go like this carrying a proper tool bag, it will really enhance the uh, face of our
Credibility of
industry
the
too, I would
credibility
say
of
that.
the product. Yeah. Okay.
Then we have the Solo 200, which is a removal tool. This allows for very simple removal. If you see, in the picture, maybe you can see there are kind of three kind of colors. You can't see it. Maybe we can only see the yellow here. There are two yellow settings, two red and two blue. So you can, according to the size of the detectors, you can set them at that angle, whether they are small, medium, or large. Or you can, then there are kind of 9 settings in totality you can do, wherein any size or any type of detector can be fitted in, and it is used for the removal of those detectors. So once you test the detectors and if the alarm sounds, that means your detectors are working fine. If your alarms don't sound, that means there is some fault in the detector. Please remove it with the removal tool. The same pole can be used on this, and it can be used at any angle, however difficult, hard to access. It is movable, so you can just insert it, remove the detector, clean it, again install it, again test it. All this will take a total of 10 to 10 minutes, I think, the maximum. And then if your detector works fine, that means it was dusty, it was dirty, it's been cleaned, it's been installed. And if it still doesn't work, that means your detector is faulty, you just need to replace it. All this is so simple, so fast, and so efficiently. You're doing your functional testing, and it will give you so much of peace at night that your fire alarm systems are working fine, 100% fine. The functional test gives you that kind of freedom. And then the aerosols, again, handheld aerosol is the smoke saver. If you see the smoke saver, it comes fitted with the aerosol cans, and then in the middle there's a slight kind of a saver which you just with a flick of or press the button, then the smoke is released. So only that much, it depends. Your detector sensitivity level can be set at, it can be set according to that. This will react. So you can spray it once or twice or thrice until it. So this is for infrequent people who do infrequent testing in small offices. For that this is used. This is also approved by the manufacturers, detector manufacturers, and these are also compliant to all the latest regulations and codes, and they are silicone free, and they do not leave any harmful residue like our other aerosols. And they come in 2 sizes again. These are for smaller jobs, like it's already mentioned here. So having run you through all the codes, standards, all about our products, and how they all work. So now I hope I have been able to convey to all of you the importance of functional testing. And for a fire alarm system, the detectors are so important to be kept healthy all the time. So thank you very much for all your time, and I hope this session has been as informative
So
as I wanted
one
it to be.
second, Parul, 1 second.
Yes,
You can
Dominic.
unshare that, and you can unshare the screen. And what I wanted to tell my viewers here, she has introduced, Parul has introduced new detector testing called Testifier. So I will run a small a movie on that. I have a testifier where it says one single
Yes.
one single tool to test all type of smoke detector.
Yes.
With multi-sensor detectors becoming increasingly popular, the ability to test each sensor in a fast, compliant manner has become even more important. The rise of multi-sensors has been recognized within industry codes and standards, which call for each sensor to be tested individually. Testifier, the all-in-one tester, makes this simple. By offering the ability to test smoke, heat, and CO sequentially or simultaneously, Testifier dramatically speeds up the test process, ensures all sensors are functioning as designed and are ready to respond in the event of a fire. As an all-in-one test tool approved by leading detector manufacturers, Testifier takes away the need to carry multiple tools on site and ensures you always have the correct tester to hand, regardless of detector type. The use of non-pressurized capsules makes for easier transportation and storage, whilst the controlled release of smoke and CO leaves less wastage and ensures detectors are safe from the possibility of contamination. Standout features, including the clearing mode and the ability to test heat sensors up to 100 degrees Celsius, help relieve the frustration of re-alarms and improve productivity on site. With 41% of fire engineers reporting a rise in the number of multi-sensor detectors they are testing, and with industry research proving these detectors help reduce false alarms, the use of multi-sensor detectors is expected to continue rising. Make sure you're prepared.
So that is testifier. What is testifier? 1 minute.
With multi-sensor detectors, increasing.
Yeah. So what Parul was introducing, the testifier, which is one single tool to test, the optical smoke detector, the smoke detector, multi-sensor, and CO2. So testifier looks more advanced, and I'm sure they're coming with data. You can store it, and tomorrow I believe you'll be launching soon with where you can gather all those data of the testing of the detector, where you can download that these detectors are tested, which is today it's not seen by anybody and not heard by anybody. So I think using testifier makes a lot of sense, because one tool, much easier to carry by your maintenance team in a building, and getting the information about when it is tested, what is the condition of that. So wonderful, Parul, very lively and very informative. That we did in the past by Britain people came, but you've done a wonderful job and very easy to understand.
Thank you for organizing it. I should say that. Thank you for organizing it.
Detector fire alarm is my passion. That is what I've been since last 30 years. We've been talking about why do we need smoke detector. Today we come to a stage, how do we maintain the smoke detector? I'm so happy that I could tell my viewers, my regular webinar attendees, that we have a technology today where one tool can test all type of smoke detector. So we have a lot of questions lined up, Parul. Let's see what my friends are asking. Please explain cleaning of any fire alarm detector. The list that is by Thola Khan. I would hope I'm spelling rightly. Yes, explain. So there are videos. How do we, once you buy this equipment, there will be training how to clean any detector that is there in the building. So it's a part of your training once you buy the kit for your building. Sampath Kumar is asking, what harm can paper fire testing do to smoke detector? Testing through paper fire, using fire, real fire itself is quite dangerous. You are becoming danger by lighting the fire in a place where you're not supposed to.
You're creating, you're creating an atmosphere for, just for by testing, you'll be creating a fire. And when you burn a paper, sir, you must be realizing that when it finishes burning, it turns black, and black particles are there. So those can enter the detector chamber and cause contamination, and further, working of the detector can be harmed.
So it is, instead of more than testing, you're creating, one is danger
Potential.
to the potential danger in the area. Second, the detector will get spoiled, and also the color of the detector will change. That white detector will become yellow, then it become black. So please stop testing the smoke detector. Why? Burning the paper. Okay, that's my request to Sampath. Whom to contact detect tester? That is there. We are putting our friend Parul contact number, email ID. Everybody home. Hope you have taken it. However, we'll be sending you this presentation and video, and you will have a number. You can directly contact. So that is the question from Sampath. We have answered your question. Let's go to Shyam Sundar. Please suggest suitable testing kit which can test flame detector from nearly 6 to 70. Do you have a flame detector tester, Parul?
No, we don't have a flame detector tester. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, how to test beam detector and flame? Sampath, there's a method to test beam detector because it's a beam, electronic beam which is passing from reflector to transmitter. You need to obstruct the beam to create a alarm. So that is there in the manual of the supplier of this beam detector. You can follow that. So
somebody was asking where to buy it from. So you can contact me. My details have been given there. So I will connect you to my distributors, and then you can buy through them. Whoever
so
wants
please
to buy.
how CO generate in a tester? How to?
There are the capsules.
You have a special
carbon monoxide capsules are there.
Okay, you have a capsule in the dispenser that
Testifier, yeah. And the dispenser also. Aerosol cans also have those carbon monoxide
Okay,
cans.
Supriya, you got the answer. There is a capsule that is available to test CO detector. Okay, Bajrangi Kumar, how to minimize false alarm? Test once in a 6 months. You can reduce the false alarm. Make sure that it is not in dusty area. If the detector is placed where a common area, normally all those detector which is in common area need to be tested regularly. Those are in clean room. You can test once in a year. That's simple method. Okay. Jai Jyoti, how do we test flame detector? We answered there is no product that is available with detector tester to test flame detector.
Someone asked the height. So height is maximum is 9 meters. You can go to, that's about 30 feet. Approximately 30 feet you can test.
Okay, Sampath Kumar having a lot of doubts here. Can we say more aerosol cans when you use this? Yes, of course she answered. If you have a dispenser, it's a controlled dispenser of aerosol. Only that is amount of required it goes out. Yes, you can save the number of where you can use 200 tests. If you do naked, it will be 50 to 75. So it is wisely.
See, laser. Someone is asking again and again. Laser is not answered, so you cannot use lasers.
Yeah. Parul, I'm coming one by one. The question hits.
It had come earlier.
Yeah,
he's come back again.
Yeah, I'll come back because when we use detector, tester, model 1, does it create alarm or just a test to give result? Does it give alarm
What?
at the panel? Is asking when you use tester, does it give alarm at the local level also and the panel?
Yeah. Your hooters will hoot. So it will, if you can hear the hooters, but then yes, on the panel also it will show and you have to reset on the panel.
Where we are testing CO sensor, do we need test CO2 sensor also? This question is, yes, you need to test CO2 test sensor also.
Yes.
There is a method to test and we have tools to do that. Sampath Kumar has maximum question. Can you share the standard to be followed? Yes, Sampath, you can contact Parul, who can give you certain guidelines on detector spacing, how to do all that. She is a encyclopedia on testing of smoke detector. So she is the testing guru for smoke.
Yeah, you can send me a mail with all your questions. I will send you a reply to each and every question.
How to clean smoke detector properly? Please tell me how to clean. She already explained to you. We have. She will directly. You can connect Parul if you need any document to say how to how to test, she will be sending you some kind of movie or presentation to that. So Thyam Singh, for which interval we need to test smoke detector, half yearly, quarterly. As I said, if the detector is placed in the common area where more publics are moved in, yes, once in a quarter, once in a 6 month is ideal. But if it's a very clean room like data center, once in a year. Praveen, how to clean detector? Yes, there is a method to test clean the detector. She already given a presentation to you. And if you need furthermore, you can please contact Sampath. He's saying thank you very much for clarification. False floor in detector. Yes, if you see what important the slide that she presenting, even the aspiration smoke detector can be tested. If you have seen aspiration, if you know ASD, even that can be tested. The detector on the false floor and false ceiling also can be tested.
Yeah.
So there are tools to test even at the false floor, false ceiling, even at in the area of duct. So we have all these tools available today to test, to ensure these are the technology. If you've seen there, the detector tester or the pioneering detector tester, earlier they were called as no claim tester. Today they renamed as tester detector. Parul is the country manager of detector tester. She's traveling length and breadth, and I would urge all my participants to get in touch with her. You could be end user, you could be a consultant, you can be a project manager, but we are here to send you all information that is required in designing how many detector tester you may require in a building, how do we test, how often that, where do you get this tester, all that she can answer. I would be very happy if you can post all that in a question. At the same time, I'll be sharing the PPT that Parul has presented today. It will come via a video. We will share it to you, and we will come back with specific model next month, probably end of next month. Again, we will come back to you, and you please invite all your facility managers in the building and all your consultants also to join this program. So we will be running series of webinar by Parul, who very passionately presented today. I personally want to thank you for sparing your valuable time. And doing webinar is my passion. Wherever there is safety, wherever there is a need to protect lives and property, I am there. And we will be keep coming back. And have a wonderful weekend. Today is Thursday. We have one more day to go. Be safe. Make sure your fire alarm works in a building. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.